Mueller will be sick when he hears the multiple grenades Zeldin just launched at him by US4Trump.com. Representative Lee Zeldin joined Sunday Morning Futures on Fox News and discussed the cloud over Attorney General Jeff Sessions and the Mueller probe. Zeldin pleads the case that Sessions needs to take more control or get out of the way. The reporter covering for Maria Bartiromo asked Zeldin to unravel President Trump's comments on Sessions and the Mueller probe. Like a true conservative, Zeldin answered that he does not know what anyone else is thinking. Then the New York congressman launched into a thing of beauty and something he can vouch for, his own thinking. Zeldin's thoughts on Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Lee said, "I think the Attorney General should revisit the scope of his recusal." He then mentions mainstream media and its effects. He said in what we're watching every day, especially on the other networks where it's just 24/7, wall-to-wall coverage, 365 about trying to take this president down. The New York congressman continued about Sessions. He said it almost seems like he's not in charge of the Justice Department, that he's recused himself out of a large portion of his job. Additionally, Zeldin rightfully stated in what is by far the largest role that the Justice Department is playing right now in American politics, of that there is no doubt it would be great to have an Attorney General who is completely in charge of the Justice Department, Lee Zeldin. And unfortunately, we are at the case right now where you have a special counsel that gets created in order to look into the Russia interference, Zeldin says, regarding the Mueller probe. He adds, with a laser-like precision, and it appears like the scope of that investigation has gone so far beyond the scope of why it was created. Absolutely. But Rosenstein gave him free rein, you see. That needs to be refocused. That needs to be narrowed. And in many respects, it needs to be ended, Zeldin said in no uncertain terms. The Mueller special counsel is a 6 million-headed monster, Representative Lee Zeldin. What's 6 million? It's 22 million, but let's move along. Zeldin explained, so if they are looking at 17 different things, well, the perception is that they are looking at 6 million different things. Oh, that's it. I thought he meant the money. In addition, Zeldin said, and they created those clouds. Lee then launched the final grenade and said, so if you have no evidence that President Trump colluded with the Russians, just come out and say it. Clear up some of those clouds so the people can move forward. Yeah, but they're planning a new thing with the New York Times that they leaked, that Trump was the back channel to the oligarch that Trump is in the pocket of Putin, with Deripaska and Putin and Trump all tied together. Out of Mueller leaked the team, whoever, but without Mueller's approval, it could never happen. So let's just say Mueller leaked to the New York Times today. They're really going full force, believe you me. Let's take a listen.
The president, as we know, has been critical of Canada. He's also been very critical of his own Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. He was asked in a Bloomberg interview in the White House in the Oval Office earlier this week, essentially saying that Sessions has his job, the Attorney General does, until the November election. And then he was asked, well, what about after that? And here's what the president said, quote, "I don't want to comment on it. Look, I just would love to have him do a great job, and I'd love to have him look at the other side. It appears, Congressman, that the Attorney General, his time as Attorney General, essentially has an expiration date on it. Is that the way to view this?"
Could be. I don't know what the president's thinking is. I don't know what AG Sessions' thinking is. I believe that the Attorney General should revisit the scope of his recusal. In what we're watching every day, especially on other networks where it's just 24/7 wall-to-wall coverage, 365 about trying to take this president down, is that the Attorney General, because of the scope of his recusal, almost seems like he's not in charge of the Justice Department, that he's recused himself out of a large portion of his job and what is by far the highest profile role that the Justice Department is playing right now in American politics. So it would be great to have an Attorney General, whether that's Attorney General Sessions or someone else. It'd be great to have an Attorney General who is completely in charge of the Justice Department. And unfortunately, we're at the case right now where you have a special counsel that gets created in order to look into Russian interference, and it appears like the scope of that investigation has gone so far beyond the scope of why it was created that needs to be refocused, that needs to be narrowed, and in many respects it needs to be ended, where you have 6 million different, it's a 6 million headed monster right now. So if they are looking at 17 different things, well, the perception is that they're looking at 6 million different things, and they created those clouds. So if you have no evidence that President Trump colluded with the Russians, just come out and say it. Let's clear up some of those clouds so the American people can move forward.
You say it needs to be ended. We are almost 60 days until the November election. It's Thursday or Friday is the 60-day mark. In your mind, if Bob Mueller has something or anything of significance, does it need to come out before the end of this week so that there is some distance between then and the end of the election? Or should he wait if he potentially has something until after the election?
I mean, if there's anything that is damaging that he wants to come out with, the closer that you get to November, the more it ends up influencing the political process. So if there's something that he's planning on coming out that is damaging to someone, something, it's best that it comes out right now. Now, between now and November, if there's any dead ends that he is aware of, where there is a cloud over a person or a party or a company, he can come out with that information anytime between now and November, because the American public needs to have as much information as possible as to what they have decided wasn't done, where there wasn't any wrongdoing. But if there's anything damaging that he's going to come out with between now and November, it really should come out now.
Congressman Lee Zeldin joining us from Southampton, New York this morning.
Well, do you think Sessions will unrecuse himself and send shockwaves through Mueller? Absolutely not. Mueller's already starting to leak to the New York Times about this oligarch, this Russian oligarch, Deripaska. And Rudy Giuliani had said he wants the report out by September 7th, so they can, because Giuliani is coming out with his report, but he can't finish the second part of the report without Mueller's input of his report. Like, in other words, but now you see what Mueller did? Now he's making it seem like Trump is in Putin's pocket by Oleg Deripaska. I mean, it is really sickening at this point. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.